of research during the past few years has shown that forefoot strike running seems to provide better protection against damaging impacts on the long bones and the knees as compared with heel strike running, but more research also hints that forefoot strike running may do more to limit damaging impact at the feet by naturally engaging a higher cadence or step rate, which means the number of steps that you take per minute, of which the more optimal step rate, proven to be good for injury prevention and performance, has been found to be between 170 to 200 steps per minute. And the video I did explaining more on why that is linked down below this video in the description box. Step rate when running is certainly one of the mechanical aspects that gets strongly influenced by foot strike pattern, and that a lower step rate is more associated with heel strike running and a higher step rate is more associated with forefoot strike running, and that overall studies have shown that a higher step rate of 170 or more steps per minute is safer and more economical than a lower step rate below 170 steps per minute. So how can a higher run cadence that's more easily engaged in forefoot strike running be potentially safer on the feet? According to a 2014 study in the journal Orthopedic Biomechanics, which is linked down below this video in the description box as well, forefoot strike running reduced pressure loads on the foot because the foot spent less time on the ground because step rate increased. They also found that increased step rate reduced peak force and pressure on the foot, especially at the heel, and there was reduced medial metatarsal force and pressure time integral when run cadence was higher. So basically, because forefoot strike running prompted a higher step rate, which led to reduced ground contact time, overall resulted in a contact of the foot with the ground that was so brief that certain stressors were not fully produced. The study also identified the main factor that enabled forefoot strike running to increase step rate and reduce total foot loading, and that was reduced foot inclination at touchdown, which means that upon a net touchdown, the front of the foot pointed up less, rather the forefoot was either parallel with the ground or pointed slightly down at the ground upon landing. This postural configuration of the foot at landing increased step rate by reducing the overstride angle, by enabling initial foot strike position to be closer to under the ankle, the knee, and the hips. Another benefit of this is that it makes the brake force less intense and shorter in duration, meaning the body spends less time coming to a crashing halt with the ground at touchdown. Contrast all this to heel strike running, which, as I stated earlier, step rate tends to be lower, and that's because the overstride angle tends to be much longer, and so is ground contact time duration as compared with forefoot strike running, and it's because of the longer overstride angle, where initial foot strike position is often ahead of the ankle, the knee, and the hips, that usually accompanies the brake force being more intense and prolonged in heel strike running. But the action of landing on the forefoot or the balls of your foot, not high up on the toes, but rather a much flatter foot placement at landing, that seems to enable other stride parameters to be used more effectively. And I'm talking about the positive changes in foot posture, stride length, and step rate that seems to naturally accompany landing forefoot first when running, seems to do more to prevent overloads to the foot than heel strike running. And this is another reason forefoot strike running is gaining more appeal, especially from an injury prevention standpoint, because of its effects on reshaping or improving multiple aspects of your stride at once, giving you a better chance to avoid injury. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to the thumbs up button, as well as the subscribe button if you haven't already. We will stay more informed on heel strike running versus forefoot strike running, as well as more informed on the benefits of using barefoot running to help you run better in shoes. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have fun out there on the roads and trails. Bye for now.